Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are ready for our homeschool and life update. I know I promised this last month. I'm sorry. Things were crazy and then they started leveling out and then they got crazy again and it's just been a whirlwind. So if you guys have not been following me for a little bit, maybe you're new here. I have 4 kids. I'm currently pregnant with baby number 5. I'm gonna do a homeschool and life update, so then our homeschool portion makes sense. I'll jump into all of the things that have been going on in our lives, just so then that way you're like, oh yeah, this is why you're not doing that. So last year, for those of you who are new here and don't know, I had a miscarriage, and in March I found out that I was pregnant with our rainbow baby. And it's been a huge blessing, and it's something that we have prayed so much over, but it has also been such a hard pregnancy. In mid-October, I ended up having a preterm labor scare that sent me to the hospital. I had some bleeding, and to even go over all of the trauma that brought on would probably not even do words could not do it justice at this point, because the first time that I had ever experienced bleeding, or the last time I had experienced bleeding in a pregnancy, equally meant loss. And so when I saw that, I freaked out and told my husband, we got to go to the hospital. And by the grace of God, everything was okay. But they said, you know, to be put on bed rest for a week because they didn't know why, and to just monitor at home basically. Now during this time, I was also having some issues with my midwife that we had chosen. We were going the home birth route, and so everything was already paid for, and I was having a lot of stress because at that point I was just shy of 31 weeks, and a lot of the midwives had already been taken, and I did not want, they have a 3 midwife practice, and I did not want one of their midwives, who happened to be the owner, part of my care, because she was giving me lazy care. There were a few times where she misinformed me or chalked certain things up to being nothing that were something. And I just did not feel safe with her, because I'm like, you're not showing up in the small things, so that does not give me confidence in your skills to show up in the big things should something happen in labor. And I was assured by the other midwives at that point that I could basically make her not part of my care, that they would just be my on-call midwives during the time I give birth, and I was okay with that because I had that comfort with them, at least to some degree. And so also around this time I was anemic. So I had nausea and vomiting, and I was just severely exhausted. And so as everything kind of started coming down, all of the spotting had gone away, my exhaustion was getting better, I was starting to be able to eat again. That's when they started saying, oh no, actually, you know what, she's gonna be part of your care. And so I was like, no, because if there's anything that I've learned from healthcare, you guys, like, even if you're a pushover, you need to advocate for yourself, especially if you're not feeling comfortable with someone, because if you have those red flag feelings, you have to listen to them. I don't know if somebody out there needs to hear this right now, but if you are feeling like you are not safe with somebody who has your medical care in their hands, especially something as delicate as a pregnancy, you need to turn and run away from them and advocate for yourself, because they do not have the right to force you into doing anything that you don't want in your care, and they do not have the right to bully their way into your care if you say that you don't want them as part of your care. So, you know, it's kind of like high stress, and then my stress levels would come down, and then when they were like, oh, you have to have her as part of your care, my stress levels rose again, because at that point I was 36 weeks, and I'm like, I have a month before my due date, all of the midwives are going to already be taken, what are you guys doing to me? And so I stayed firm and I was like, no, absolutely not. So the other midwives made it seem like, okay, that's fine. Like, we're just going to continue with the plan as is. And then at 38 weeks, or a little after 38 weeks, they ended up dropping me from care, leaving me with no one on like a Friday afternoon. And I was so stressed going into that weekend without any kind of plan. If God forbid, I had delivered during that weekend, I'd have to go to the hospital, which wouldn't be terrible, but it wasn't what I personally wanted. And we just had such a blessed experience with our last baby, who was our first home birth, that I really wanted that again. It was just so peaceful and comforting, and it was so nice to be in our own home delivering our baby. And then we didn't have to worry about childcare. We didn't have to worry about, could the kids come and see the baby, or, would labor and delivery not allow visitors and things like that. So I was just under this like immense pressure to try to find someone. And by the grace of God, we found a midwife, but that ended up changing our birth plan a little bit, because we have to go with a birth center now, which is fine. It's not a bad thing, but it's not something that I had been planning because I had basically been planning a second home birth from the time I had my first home birth. So that's been like years in the making. And so it's been a little bit of a mental challenge, just kind of grieving the loss of what I thought we would get. But I know that God has a plan, and I'm trusting in it so hard. But that doesn't take away the sadness of not getting to experience something that was just such like a treasured moment in your life again. But I also know that, there can be new treasured moments made in different areas. It's just been something that's hard to, go through all of the emotions of not getting the very thing that you were planning for. But I know at the end of the day, I want my baby girl healthy, and I want to have a provider who I trust and who I feel safe with. And then in the mix of all of this, we've been battling sicknesses, and ever since Thanksgiving, I had been sick, and my due date is like tomorrow, which by the time you guys see this, it would have been 2 days ago. And my babies always run late, so I wasn't too stressed about her coming early, but just with the preterm labor stuff, and then at one point we were even sent to the hospital for a non-stress test, and then just all of the pain and the anemia and the nausea and vomiting. Like, this has just not been my traditional pregnancy. So although I usually go late, I was also like, this baby could very well be my wild card who comes early. And so there's just been so much stress instead of peace and relaxation. And so that is why I have not been on YouTube as frequently. And then just battling all of the random sicknesses with my kids, and then me randomly getting sick on Thanksgiving, and I'm still trying to get over a cough. But hopefully everything will work out by the time the baby comes. So with all of that in mind, going into our homeschool update, we have only been doing language arts, Bible, and math. Science, history, Spanish, everything else has just gone out the window. I have not been able to physically, mentally, or emotionally homeschool the way that I have in years past, even when we were doing extreme grieving last year. And man, it's been hard to not be hard on yourself, like, oh, we're missing all of this. And I know that when this baby comes, like, things will hopefully level out, and then we still have half of our homeschool year and even this summer to do unit studies and our curriculums and things like that, so we can get some science and history in. But it is also so hard when you just feel terrible physically that you can't do the things that you had planned or do the things that you would like to do, for your kids in their academics. So maybe some of you have battled the same thing. one of the things that has brought me comfort is the fact that over the last couple of homeschool conventions, you hear from veteran homeschoolers like, man, there was years where we literally did nothing. My kids just read books for the whole year and they're doctors now, or they're thriving in their adult life. And I'm clinging on to that some years are gonna be really easy and great and full of learning and beauty, and some years are just gonna be hard, and somehow it all just works out. So hopefully if you're one of those people who just needs to hear that it's gonna work out, this video is perfect for you. But I know at the end of the day, it's gonna work out. So I had every intention to do reviews for you guys on our Spanish curriculum, but I have not used it. So I don't want to review something that I have not used yet, I've done like a few lessons and that is it. And so once the kids and I have actually used our Spanish curriculum, I will have those reviews coming out for you guys, because I know that is such a big explored question, is what Spanish curriculum to use. And I have like 3 that I wanted to compare for you guys. But right now we are mainly in survival mode. We are not thriving here. Okay, so we literally have done Bible, all of our language arts and math, and everything else has just been pushed to the wayside. Now, I will say that for my son, at the beginning of the year, I mentioned how we changed, for my 5th grader, I mentioned how we changed his language arts to IEW. And this is something that I had such big concerns on, but you guys, I love IEW so much. It has been such a blessing. He is growing in his writing abilities. This kid hates writing. Or we've at least have had those like ebbs and flows where he likes it, then he doesn't like it, and then he likes it and he doesn't like it. And he enjoys this curriculum. He does not always enjoy writing his rough draft by himself. A lot of the times I will say that that's when I need to step in and help bounce ideas off of him, and just have a little bit more of that parental guidance. But for the most part, that is such a blessing to have that curriculum. I absolutely love it. And one of the things that I really love is that you can tailor it in certain ways. So next year, I think I'm going to be able to use one of their lower grade curriculums as a group subject. At least that's an idea that I'm playing around with. So then that way I can kind of condense things, since I will have a baby and a toddler in the mix. But I love that I can do that, and then I can just push him a little bit more in the ways that he needs to be pushed, while also doing the same work with my daughter and just trying to make my life, in the future easier. As we are also using their phonetic zoo, he absolutely loves that. I love that it is an audio version that I can set him up with on his computer, and I don't have to be necessarily a part of that. So that's independent work that he can do while I'm working with my 7-year-old. And then the last piece of language arts that we are using from them is Fix It Grammar, and I equally love that as well. It is, the lessons, they are short. They are nothing that my son personally needs help with for, the parent portion. All I have to do is just go through the parent book and correct whatever he, might need a little extra help on. But that curriculum has been so nice. It's literally like a 5 to 10 minute assignment. It's nothing intense or crazy. He gets like 2 or 3 sentences that he has to go and find and label, like the nouns, the verbs, the prepositional phrases, things like that, and then he rewrites the sentence at the bottom. So it's super quick and easy, and I absolutely love that one. For his math, we are using Matthew C, and I'm not crazy about it, but I don't hate it. We are going to finish it out. I'm not sure if that's going to be something that we use again next year, but for the most part, he can do that on his own. I will say that he does not like to watch the videos for it. It's like they were filmed in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like they're kind of on the older side, and so they don't have that peppiness that Andrew Pudawa brings to the table in IEW, but it's been working for him, and I feel like it's meeting him where he's at. He's getting to know fractions really well. There are some inconsistencies that I don't like it will have you do things one way a certain amount of time, and then the book will all of a sudden change it, but it doesn't give you any written direction. So I do think that maybe if we were watching the videos, it would say that. But I also feel like the book should say, now try doing the fraction like this, in words, just in case you're not watching the videos. So that's neither here nor there. Maybe you guys have had different experiences and it says it somewhere along the line. I just haven't seen it. And so, that's the only thing that I really don't like about Matthew C. for him, for my 5th grader. Now, as far as my 7-year-old, so she's my 1st grader, we are using All About Reading. I absolutely love that for her. She is growing so well in her reading skills. And I love the way that it's designed. I love how it has the games. I love how it also backs it with I forget what the sheets are called, but they're warm-up sheets. And then she's also reading from a book, and the warm-up sheets prepare her for the story that she's going to read from the book. So I love how consistent it is, and I love how short the lessons are. It's nothing that's overwhelming her. Now, we are using IEW's PALS, and they pair their spelling curriculum with All About Spelling. I like their spelling portion, but I absolutely hate All About Spelling. I don't know what it is, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I have basically altered it, so I don't know what it is. I think we just don't like the flashcards, like the way they do the flashcards. And some of it is, the book is a little wordy for me, and my brain just doesn't want to do that. And so I end up just giving her the spelling words and having her spell them out. So, if one of the spelling words is mat, then I give her a piece of paper and then have her spell that, and that's been working for us. So just because a curriculum is set up a certain way, this is your reminder that you don't have to use it that way. And I know sometimes we all need that reminders, even if you've changed curriculums or how you approach a curriculum in the past. Sometimes you need that little reminder of like, just because it's done like this doesn't mean I have to keep doing it like this. Like I can alter it to make it work for us. I had to be like 3 lessons in before I reminded myself of that, because I was just dreading the All About Spelling. I don't know what it is, but do you for those of you who have used it, do you like it, and what, or do you not? And if you didn't, then why did you not? Because I'm having such a hard time pinpointing exactly what I didn't like. For her, we are using Matthew C, and I don't like it for her. I feel like they go over addition and subtraction so much, which I know because their books are like designed to like cover, 1 or 2 concepts at a time, and not, the spiral approach where they cover multiple things and then spiral back. But I feel like for her age, it's not good because they miss things like teaching them money and teaching them time. And so while she's learning addition and subtraction really great and in depth, I'm having to find extra resources to pair, so then she also gets the learning things that she needs that are very important. I mean, you deal with time every day in your life. You deal with money every day in your life. So these are important concepts that I feel like Matthew C. misses for the younger grades. And for her, I don't believe we're going to be using it next year. I haven't fully decided on my son, but for her, I'm going to switch to something that's a little bit more all-encompassing for the kids who are still trying to build up their math skills in like the most basic of ways. So then that way she learns a little bit of everything instead of just a lot about 2 things. So that's language arts and math. And then they're both using more than words, and we love more than words. Next year, I do want to get us back on track with doing the Bible together. I feel a lot of the time, just especially with the way that I've felt health-wise, my son has done his more than words on his own, but I would like to have more of that interaction where we can talk about the things that we're reading. We can discuss different concepts. We can, really challenge each other in our faith and things like that, instead of just, okay, you go do your Bible study, you go do yours, and then we'll maybe talk about it or maybe not. I do have a Bible study that I am looking at and I'm really excited about, but I'm not sure how it would fare. So I'll introduce that in the coming months when we talk about our curriculum picks for next year, if I decide to go with that one. But I did find one that sounded really cool. Now, as far as some of the curriculums that we had started using, but that we just haven't kept up with because I've been so sick, we were starting with the outer space unit study from Gather Round, and my kids were really, really enjoying that, and I really want to get back to it. I'm hoping that this recovery for this baby will be so easy, and that we can find our routine quickly with her, and that we can jump back into all the things. But I've also got 4 kids right now, so if I know anything, I know that each postpartum time can be so completely different, and you just don't know. So I'm also not going to put pressure on myself to jump back into things either. But I am hoping that we'll at least be able to finish out that curriculum before the end of the year. We will see. Many of you who saw my curriculum picks for this year know that we started the year with simply Charlotte Mason's history. I believe it was Genesis through Deuteronomy. When we do pick history back up, I'm not picking that up. I did not enjoy it. It was so boring. And this is where you guys get the bluntness and not the tactfulness. My apologies if you love that curriculum. I have not enjoyed it. It has been very dry. I don't like how they have these book lists that say, we recommend pairing it with these books. So I did go and buy a good portion of the books, but one of the things that gets a little frustrating is that when you're reading the main book, it won't say, cover this book and this book and this book this day, or here's your options to cover for the day. It will be like, go to this book, and then you go to this book and you read, or you do whatever map activity you have. And then in that book, it will say, now you should try to read this book. And so I just feel like it's too all over the place, instead of, giving a good outline. And then you can either choose what to do, or you kind of just have the picture painted in front of you before you start of, okay, I need to try to have this, this, and this. And not only on me, but planned for the day. So I did not care for that. My kids were getting kind of bored in some of the lessons. So we're going to go back to our favorite, which is Beautiful Feet books. I might honestly just end up using All Around the World as everything for us regarding, because that one's kind of like an all-in-one curriculum. I have a video review on it that I'll link up here in case you guys want to check it out, but that one covers everything. It covers art, science, geography, and history. And so I feel like with how our year has gone so far, having a curriculum that covers 4 different things might be a really good idea to use, because I need to hit the easy button. So hopefully at some point in the coming months, I will have Spanish getting used, and I will be able to do a review for you guys on that. I know that some of you have reached out to me and asked specifically about my likes and dislikes on it. I'm so sorry I haven't gotten back to you. I haven't been able to use it, and I thought that I would have by now, and life, you guys, it's been a curveball. So that is our homeschool and life update. I hope that you guys enjoyed hearing the things that are working for us and the things that are not working for us in homeschool, and understand why I have been gone from YouTube so much. This baby is due literally any day now, so as much as I would love to say, yeah, I'm going to be having a video out every week in December, that may not. I don't think that's going to happen. So this is probably going to be my last video for December, but I'm not leaving YouTube. I do 100% plan on coming back. I will be back with videos in January. Please send prayers for an easy recovery. So then I can do that with ease and not stress. But I appreciate you guys so much just supporting my channel and being here and tuning in when I post videos. And I can't describe how much you guys have just been a blessing to me and this channel. And hopefully the things that I have posted have been a blessing to you as well. So don't worry, I'm not leaving forever, I promise. If you guys like this video, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, hit that red subscribe button, and I will see you again later. Bye.